All right, Darren, welcome to the Training Wheels podcast. Basically, me and Tom came up with the idea a couple of months ago, just the fact we're both kind of teetered on 30, me a bit closer than him. And we just thought with being beginner in this sort of a environment that it'd be good to get an insight into how people came into the business, what kind of routes they took, and just stuff like that, and just general chatting about anything really, anything that comes up, and just what their plans for future and stuff like that are.
Okay.
Yeah, really, it's to find the route progression that everybody's had. I think the one thing that we sort of want to instill in probably the younger generation than us, that there's lots of different ways to skin a cat per se. You know, it's not just you leave school, you compete, you do well when you're young, and that's how you become, you know, at whatever level. It could be that you decide to do coaching first, or decide to start a business, or, you know, expos, whatever it is, and the route to that, and, you know, for people to understand how you got there, and, you know, the rest of the guys we got to.
That's fine.
Just for anybody that doesn't know, Darren, just let everyone know who you are and what you do and that sort of thing.
Okay, so I am a pretty normal fellow. I'm nothing special. I've been a fan of the sport for a long time, and I don't know how the hell I got really into this. It kind of happened by default, really. So I suppose, like anyone else, joined the gym, did all that kind of usual stuff that you do when you're younger. And then, I competed 3 times. I wasn't very good, but I had a go. I don't even think there's any pictures of me online. This was before them times, I think. I had a go. So I kind of know and I understand all that world. And then I kind of fell in with a federation. So I used to help a quite big federation backstage from the beginning. And how do I say that diplomatically? I'm no longer with them. However, I've kind of cracked on and done my own thing. And then in terms of how I got into this, I suppose because I was helping with a gym similar to who I was with that federation, I ended up somehow volunteering to look after the athletes at Body Power. That's how it all started.
Okay.
So I went from a fanboy, kind of 2009, right the way through, doing up for Jay Cutler and Kai Greene and all these people, to 4 years later, driving them around and standing in boots with Kai Greene, looking for, he was after a thing called Magic Shave, which is basically Nair cream.
Yeah.
Because he can't shave. He has a skin irritation. So I'm there in boots and I'm like pinching myself thinking, what the fuck am I doing? This is Kai Greene, like this is one of my idols, and I'm in boots with him. And there's people just looking like, what the fuck is that? Like, you know, because you don't often see a guy of that stature in full-on leggings and tight muscle top down the women's shaving aisle in boots, do you? So I suppose I drove the athletes around for a few years, and that for me was amazing. And I was, you know, I volunteered to do it, and from a bodybuilding perspective, you can't beat that. It's just you know, I learned so much. I had such great times with these people. And I suppose towards the end of that, I used to say to a couple of them that I got on with quite well, if there was something else, would you do it? You know, because with all due respect, trying to stay diplomatic as I can on here, I watched the other expo that was in the UK go a different way. And I felt that it lost its way. And I thought, do you know what, if there was something else, could it be done? And I didn't have an idea how much money it would be or anything like that. I assumed it would be a lot. So I kind of thought about, could I do one day, one hall type thing where it could be strongman, bodybuilding, CrossFit, and then it's just become what it's become, which is brilliant. And it's very humbling to know that all these people have kind of jumped on board with us. But yeah, that's how I've kind of got to where we are. So fast forward now 2.5 years of planning, and we're at 113 brands and 26, 27 stars. And it's mental. So yeah, that's the journey really.
So just before we move on to any of the questions, just something that's popped into my mind. I know obviously COVID has caused a bit of a shitter in terms of having to change dates and times and venues and that sort of thing. Do you think that might have helped in terms of increasing the number of people involved?
Mate, 100%, yeah. So as shit as it's been, and it's been horrendous, and yeah, it's been crap for me, but there's far worse situations. Like, you know, we looking back, it's been a weird blessing. We were ready to go 26th of September 2020. Looking back now, it's not even a quarter, you know, it wouldn't have been a quarter of what it will be now. In terms of the brands, you know, when I first started this, I was emailing brands and they were just looking at the email and going, yeah, whatever, see you later. Weren't even acknowledging it. Some of them were, some of them weren't. I remember offering some free stands to some big brands in the beginning saying, look, would you come? I've got a different model I have. I don't do it like where I sell a stand for a silly amount of money, because for me, when I felt the other expos were good was when you walked away with loads of bags of free samples. I know I did.
Yeah.
You know, I remember going around bodybuilding.com 4 times and getting a t-shirt, shaker and whatever, and then going again and going again and going again. Animal Universal used to come over. I used to get the can with the t-shirt, the bar and everything in it. And at the time, you couldn't really buy Animal Universal clothing. So you'd suddenly have a brand new Animal t-shirt for $5 or something, whatever stupid it was. But yeah, I used to walk out with bags and bags of stuff. And although some companies don't fully like that because sometimes they waste the product and everything else, I think a lot of people love that. Everyone loves a freebie. I know from working in the bodybuilding shows, everyone loved a goodie bag. It's something I'm making sure my goodie bags are really, really good as well. So, yeah, COVID moved us then to April. So it should have been this weekend just gone, as mad as it is. Yeah, but even now, like, I'm not ready yet. Like I'm literally sitting here every day treating this as a job. I've got a full-time job. You know, I'm a normal fella. I've got a full-time job. Luckily for me, I'm on furlough. Only the last month of all this, I've been on furlough. I haven't been on furlough for the whole bloody thing. And then when it's gone, they've decided to furlough me for a month, which is like, oh, right, brilliant. So part of me is worried because, shit, do I have a job? But then also I'm like, well, I've got to take this opportunity now and get as much done as possible in this next month, because I literally do it all. It's just me. So, you know, I've got great people around me that have helped and invested and stuff like that. But the day-to-day running of it, every email, every reply on Instagram, Facebook, it's just me. And, you know, I'm now currently doing manual invoices because I haven't even set up a bloody, you know, a proper invoice platform. I'm doing it all on my own. So I've learned a lot and I'll know a lot more for next year. But by moving it, it's created such opportunity. You know, we've got the competitions are so much better. We've now got 9 comps. You know, the athletes that we've got on board, some of the athletes that couldn't have made the original dates can now make it. You know, the brands who have jumped in quite late on, who maybe didn't want to be on board from the beginning. Yeah, and we've sold out of stand space, which is mental. Like I genuinely thought, lads, I'd have 35, 40 brands, and I'm now at 113, and it's amazing. It's amazing. So it will be, you know, all the others they say whether this, whether that. I can absolutely say it will be the expo with the bonus brands in the UK this year. Yeah. So far, anyway. So far, I know that much. So, but yeah, we're different as well. We've got very, very credible athletes. As much as the Insta Famous crew are important to a degree, every single one of my athletes has won something. They've all competed at the highest level, whether it's World's Strongest Man, whether it's World's Strongest Woman, whether it's, you know, Rob Bowman Taylor, whether it's Jordan Syatt, one of the best, you know, nutritionists. Even Jordan has got multiple powerlifting records, and he's only a slight fella to have a look at him, but he's absolutely, he's an animal, like, you know, with the deadlift bar. But they've all competed. They've all won awards. What I think made me lose my faith in the expo scene here was when I had to look after Dana and Rob Bailey, and the guy on the desk for the VIP party, and I'm chaperoning them. I'm looking after them, walking them into the after party on the Saturday night at the NEC. And the guy on the desk employed by that company didn't know who they were and asked them for their ID. And I'm like, man, know your people. Like, come on, get a grip. Yeah. And then I remember queuing up for Kevin Levrone. I looked after Kevin Levrone the year he made his Olympia comeback. And you had, who was over there? Was it the Hodge twins, I think? Yeah. And I'm like, there was no queue around Kevin. There was probably 3 of us in the queue, and then there was about 200 in the Hodge twins. And I was like, what has it become? So I think that was the point for me where I thought, you know what, could there be something else? And for me, it's not competition, because when I came out of Body Power, and I would still go to Body Power. This isn't for me to diss that, by the way, because I sound like a knobhead if I'm doing that. But for me, when you come out of an expo, you're buzzing to go to another one. And then I've got to wait for a whole year. You know, I went up to SFN in Glasgow last, it would have been before lockdown, so September-ish time. And I really enjoyed it. You know, I really did enjoy it. It was different to what we're going to be. It had a lot more of a strongman type feel to it than bodybuilding. But I still thought it was worth the drive up because it was a like-minded type of thing. And it's not like football where you can watch football in every city in the land has a football ground of a Premiership level and then below. You can go to a pub and watch football. With events like this, you just don't get the opportunity in the UK.
No.
So to have this, and then greatly, we've got the Arnold coming in October, which is fantastic. I don't see that as competition. That's a brilliant thing. I can't compete with the Arnold in terms of its size. No. You know, I can't afford to bring Arnie over, but I can do my damn best at bringing some really class acts. And none of our people, they've either not been to the UK before or they haven't been for a hell of a long time. Phil hasn't been since 2012. Justin Compton's never been. So they're the guys I'm really looking forward to seeing, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's quite funny. One of the things that did attract me to Fitx, obviously I was meant to go or did my ticket for last year, then things happened, I had to repurchase. But it was the cost, because I thought like some Body Power, the Arnold, it's like I'd have to save up for 6 months really to even afford to go down, and then you've got your hotel, or whatever where you stay. But Fitx was attainable.
Yeah,
you know,
that was really important. Yeah, it was really important for us to do that because I do think it's progressively got more expensive. You know, we've added a VIP in, but our VIP, it really is VIP. This isn't like you get a shaker with a few samples. Like, you really are treated like a VIP. You know, there is a VIP lounge with free food in it. We've even got bloody prep meals in there, for God's sake, for free. So as long as you don't take the piss and fill your rucksack up, there are prep meals for you. You know, there are protein donuts in there. There's brownies in there. There's rain in there. There's a masseuse in there. There's a barber in there, for God's sake. If you want to fade for free, if you want to come and you feel a bit like this, a bit mucky, you can have it all tidied up because you're going out on Saturday night. So I really wanted it to feel like VIP. There are still tickets for that available, by the way. There you go.
I was just about to say, I know that Jason's already got his, but I was going to, I'm going to go down there with him. So, up from here.
So yeah, I mean, but from a standard day ticket price, $23.50, and then the weekend was $38. But what I've done, and this is massively important to me, anyone who competes with us within their registration gets the weekend within that price. So, you know, those that compete for the FitX Strong Classic, they get within their registration full expo access for the whole weekend. If you're doing the England Strongest Man, if you're doing the calisthenics, whatever you're doing, because I don't want you competing for us on Saturday and then having to queue back up and buy another ticket to come in on Sunday, because I've come to watch you. No one wants to meet me there. Like, people want to meet people, you know, like these guys on the poster. People want to meet the stars. People want to meet the brands. You know, so I think to compete and then the following day have to charge you again is wrong. If you're an athlete, you're a massive part of what we're about, whether you're a pro athlete or someone at the amateur level. That's what we're here for, you know?
Yeah. I had somebody mention that the Arnold to compete was quite a considerable amount of money. I've not looked into it myself, but I have heard that the competing side of things is quite expensive.
From the bodybuilding perspective, it will be, because it's with someone else who's a little bit more expensive than us. No comment.
That's all pretty cool, man. I'm pretty excited. I know I was already planning to go, but now I'm even more excited because I definitely need to get a haircut. Hopefully I get one.
Where are you based, Tom?
Kidderminster. I'm originally from Telford, Shrewsbury way, but I live here.
You're not that far away then, yeah. And Jace, where are you in Scotland?
Glasgow.
Okay. Did you go to West? Have you been to SFN?
I've been twice. The last time I went was 2019. Yeah, 2019.
Yeah, that would have been when Insight went up, yeah?
Yeah. That's the first time I met Danny and stuff like that, and Josh and stuff in person. That's the first time I met him in person.
Yeah, good. Yeah, well, this is it. We were going to be there this year, but obviously they moved back to 2022. So, but the guy that runs that, he's a nice fella. So yeah, we can always look at doing something in the future with him. But because we were meant to have a Scottish show, you see, a bodybuilding show, but we had to pull it because of we can't get a venue that's guaranteeing us that it's open. That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's a bit different in Scotland as well, isn't it? I think their restrictions have been tighter for longer periods of time, and I think they're
more
volatile as well, aren't they? You know, it could change at any one given moment. No offense, Jason, but you know, you're having to wait another week or so to go to the gym, whereas the rest of the UK is allowed to go. Only the same as Wales getting to have haircuts a week or two earlier than us, but you know, who's complaining? Sorry.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, really. I mean, like I say, it's so it has helped in that respect. It's allowed me to plan a lot more. I think naively, I didn't understand how much there is. I mean, there's so much to think about.
Yeah.
Like it's just everything. Like there's so much stuff that you don't even, you know, the plan. I've had meetings every day, and like I said, being off work is allowing me to do this. But like, you know, right down to the passes, the exhibitor passes. Then you got the athlete passes. You got to design them first, though, and I do a lot of that myself as well because that was my background before all this. There's my little boy's playing up right now while I'm on live, which is brilliant.
Don't worry, my dog's doing exactly the same thing.
So yeah, I mean, like all the planning, the stands, you know, making sure our stands look good as well. The strongman arena, we just want it to look as well as we can on the budget we've got. And then the plan is to make it even bigger. I mean, year 2, we've already booked April 9th, 10th, 2022. We've already booked it, and we've booked an extra hall to make it bigger again. So yeah, so it's all go, but it's interesting. I mean, it's exciting. I love, although it's busy and I'm up every day early and I'm to bed late, I enjoy it. And my goal with this, as crazy as it might be to many, is I just want this to be my job. Like I'd fucking love this to be my job. And at the minute, it's not my full-time job. It doesn't bring me in any money. It costs me a lot of money and a lot of headaches. But like, you know, we're in Bradford on Sunday. We're doing a community day in Bradford. And, you know, we're doing these not to make money because we don't make money. We give things away at them, but it builds that community. Yeah. You know, you'll come along. There's a free posing workshop. There's blood works by Dave Crosland. There's donuts there. We're going to run a competition. So I always run some form of comp. Like I think this week I'll do something like 8% bodyweight press challenge for reps, and we'll 50 quid to the winner or something. You know, something like that. And then we'll do the same with squats. But just kind of encouraging a little bit of a community feel. And then on May the 1st, we're climbing Snowdon, which is completely unrelated to the gym, but it's absolutely related to just well-being and just getting the fuck outside. And we're going to hold a seminar halfway up the bloody mountain. So James Elliott, who's one of the guys speaking for us, who's amazing, by the way, if you don't already follow him, he's a para and he's got multiple world records. And his missus is a competitive eater. She can do 4 large pizzas, Domino's.
Yeah.
With toppings. I think she can do 4 large in 4 minutes.
Jesus Christ.
Which is, yeah.
That's pretty good going.
Yeah,
I'd like to try it.
I tried to book her, but we couldn't have her. She was fully booked, but I thought that would look pretty cool. But yeah, we did.
Everyone on prep, and then you've got someone eating 4 pizzas in 4 minutes.
Well, you know, I never really understood this competitive eating thing, but there's quite a following of it from bodybuilders, because I suppose, you know, I've been there myself. When you are prepping, and I remember on my first comp, there's a big guy in my gym at the time, and he was like, "Have you started crying yet?" I was like, "What?" He was like, "Have you started crying?" And I was like, "No, what are you talking about?" So I'm there and I'm doing my cardio in the morning next to this beefcake who's like 21 stone or something crazy. And then I was like, what's he talking about? But then at the end, I kind of understood what it meant, because I was just that last couple of weeks just dreaming of brownies and stuff. So I can see where you would have this kind of, you know, this, you get attracted to this competitive eating thing, you know, and watching these videos. I know I used to make cakes at the time. I used to make cakes at the time for the missus because I couldn't eat them myself. So I would bake them. I would feed her up. Mental.
I just watch food YouTube every day. If it's a non-training day and I'm on low carbs, that's it. Every meal, it's trying to make it last as long as possible while I'm watching somebody else eat something that I wish I could eat. It sounds strange, but it helps.
The problem with me, if I'm on trimming down or cutting thing, is I work in an old folks home, so it's all cakes, chips, and mashed potatoes. It's like you're just like drooling when the dinner comes, because you're just like, you can't eat it, but you're just get bombarded with it.
Okay.
It's it's pretty mental. They're doing different bits and pieces all over the country, and that sort of stuff's pretty.
Well, we started. The thing is, because like, I mean, we're not famous or anything, like, but when I started this, I was literally right. I've got to bring this social media up. I've got to kind of go at it. No one knows who I am. So I tried to make it all look nice. But then I did all the giveaways, because giveaways are always going to attract people and stuff. And we've got some amazing sponsors, you know. So whether it's Explosive Ape or Strom or HR Labs, they've all really helped me out with stuff. And many other brands, by the way. I forgot some there, but you know, we've done all sorts of giveaways. But then I kind of thought, what could we do different? What could we do that's different to what those have done before? And rather than just send leaflets to gyms, well, actually, what about if we do these gym tours? So I had this idea of 100 gyms in the time that we had until that September. So we started off in AW Fitness up Manchester way, and we had a really good night there. And I'd come along with some rain and, you know, like my page, please, and I'll give you a can of rain. It kind of became like that. And then we'd run these little comps, and the winner would get a t-shirt or something. And then we've done various ones. But I mean, I remember being in Liverpool 1 in like the gym group, and you couldn't give the stuff away. No. But what I found was at your dedicated strong and your ultra flexes, these type of gyms, they love it, because that's, like me, when I compete, the lads from the gym came and watched me. It's more of a family feel.
Yeah.
No disrespect to your pure gyms and your anytime fitness type gyms, but they just seem to come in their gangs. And so yeah, we started hitting more of them, and then like Laz started doing our videography. Laz Gelsey, Mike and Lisa's son, and he's really good. And we just started making a bit more of a focus on less of them, but more quality. Mm-hmm. So like on Saturday when we turn up, we'll give away t-shirts. CMP will turn up with some freebies. We'll do the free posing session, like I say. We'll do the blood work. So you get quite a lot back. And from an ambassador point of view, I didn't want to do what Body Power did, which is basically just, you get X amount of money if you sell X amount of tickets. I wanted it to feel like you were more part of us. Yeah. So by doing these community days, which are welcome to anyone, like you don't have to be an ambassador, but if the ambassador,
where's the one this weekend?
Bradford. Yeah, so Bradford. So it's at Emma Hyman's gym. So it's Strength Pro gym. So we've got there. I mean, it's a cracking day if you just want to come up and say hello to people, because obviously Emma's running the posing workshop. Mike and Lisa will be there, judges as well. So if you're ever going to compete or want to compete again or thinking about competing, we'll get people there for the posing workshop. There's people that are prepping to compete with us, but also it's open to any fed. Like if you're not even competing with us and you're only doing PCA, that's okay. Come along and you can have a free session. I'm not bothered. If you're a bodybuilding fan, then come along. I'm not going to say, oh no, only if you're registered with Two Bros. No, it's not about that. No disrespect. No. But,
Well, the thing is, because, in sort of business terms, they may not be registered with FitX this year, but then next year they may well be.
Exactly, because they'll see what we're about. You've got Dave Crosland there doing blood works. Along on the posing, we've got Josh Kinsey's coming up as well. He's a good lad to get on your
podcast. I've actually messaged him on the back of seeing that he was on there, because I've seen some of his poses on his Instagram and it's fucking incredible. So
yeah, he's really. I know Josh very well from backstage with all the other shows. So Josh will be there. We'll have our competition, like I say. There's some of the brands are coming. I think there's live DJs. There's a food truck. There's Defiance Donuts are there. So yeah, it'll be just a good day, and we'll video it all, and then we'll put that video out next Tuesday or Wednesday, or whatever. And then Snowdon, that's a biggie. So if you can make that, you're always welcome. And it's just literally a climb up Snowdon. Like, we're just going to get up there, talk. Again, we'll do a bit of free food and whatever else, free t-shirts and stuff for those that come first. And again, it's just a good day out where we can just look forward to something. I signed up to do the 3 peaks a few years ago because I was scared of heights. And I did them. And I did, Ben Nevis was the one that killed me that day.
That destroyed my knee.
Oh, mate, I think I've still left part of me up there. A part of my soul is up there, mate, because on the way down, my ankles just swelled up like balloons, and I was in agony. But it's cracking. Like, it's cracking to do it. And Snowdon's beautiful. And if you've never done a mountain, it's a challenge to do. We won't be going up there. It's not Everest. We won't be going up there with ropes and stuff, so don't worry about that. But it's just a nice challenge with like-minded people. And like I said, we'll do this mental health seminar on the top as well. And we can just talk and whatever else and come back down. And, it's a nice way to spend a Saturday, really. But yeah, so we do a lot of stuff like that. We do a lot of stuff like that.
Far away, is it?
And then there's multiple other gyms that we're going to do as well. So we're going to try and hit as many gyms as possible. Originally, it was all about, let's just do them around the Northwest because it's Liverpool. But you know what? Our first ticket was bought by a girl in Ireland. Our second ticket was bought by a girl in Iceland. Our third ticket was bought in Aberdeen. Mad that I still know this, isn't it? But I literally watch them as they come in.
If it's your baby and you've grown it from day one, of course you're going to remember those little details of the first.
And I was like, fucking hell, we haven't even sold a ticket for Liverpool yet. And people have come, we had people come to our seminars and our days up from Devon. We've got a bus coming down from Cumbria. So it's really nice that people all around the UK are coming to this, which kind of shows that it is growing and gathering some momentum,
Yeah.
It's impressive. It's pretty cool to, sort of hear the story, which we didn't know this, and I'm sure there's others that won't know that listen to the podcast. But, starting off doing it somewhere else, but then deciding it can be done better, and aside from whatever has gone on there. But
yeah, well,
everyone does that.
It's like why we picked Liverpool. I didn't want to put it near Body Park because I didn't think it was the right thing to do. I didn't want to put it in the calendar part of the year, so I put it in September, and I put it in Liverpool. I picked Liverpool because it's away from Birmingham, but also it's a really cool city. The venue is on the docks. It's an amazing venue.
Yeah.
If you go up there with your missus who's not that bothered, but you're really bothered, she can come for an hour or two, and then Liverpool one's across the road, so you're right there. You can come out of your bodybuilding show and literally get a burger next door. There's so much around the docks in Liverpool. It's a brilliant weekend away. So we've kind of marketed it around the whole come away for the weekend type thing. Because, and then the Friday night, obviously with Fuad. So we haven't got full confirmation yet, but the plan will be that there'll be a seminar on the Friday night. And if we can get the podcast live on the Friday night, that's the plan. So Bodybuilding and Bollocks will go live. So that was my original plan. That's my goal. I spoke to him again last week. So I don't want to put artwork out saying it's definite, because at the minute it's kind of, let's see if we can get all the guests on there. Let's see if we can get the logistics. But that is the plan.
Yeah.
And that VIP weekend is the only way you can get into that on the Friday night, because it starts on Friday night and then we've got Saturday, Sunday. But yeah, we put Liverpool as well because there's loads of gyms. It's quite a young city. There's a lot of brands around the Northwest, which I didn't even realize till I got into this. A lot of protein brands are based around the Northwest. And they've never had anything like this. No. You've always had Body Power in the Midlands, and then they tried to do one down London way in the XL, but they've never done one in the Northwest. So, fuck it, why not?
First of its kind.
Yeah.
Okay. We've pretty much covered every question in the that we've got.
I ramble.
I know it's trust me. I would much rather that you spoke and sort of got it all out than we had to sort of taint it out with you. But taunt. Right. So what? I know you spoke about the Kai Greene moment, but what other surreal moments have you had through the career doing what you're doing? What else springs to mind other than buying hair removal cream in boots?
I don't know. I mean, that isn't part of Fitxpo, so it's not really valid. But I did have some great times looking after those athletes. I remember fondly looking after Dallas.McCarver when he was over, and he was one of the nicest fellas we've ever looked after. An absolute gentleman, God rest him. Flex was. I mean, they were all. Most of them were great. My particular favourites were Dallas and Flex. I always liked the Flex. Then the Animal lads were always my favourites. I loved them. I looked after them every year for 3 years. And when I say looked after them, I'd take off 3 days off work. I would never tell the missus that I'd took 3 days. I'd always, like at the beginning, because it encroached into the week. It became like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but then it was like Thursday, then it was Wednesday. Mm-hmm. So I was picking up the athletes in Gatwick on like a Tuesday night. And literally not sleeping pretty much, an hour to a night if I was lucky through to the Sunday, because I'd pick them up from the airport, take them back to the gym, take them to the hotel, take them to the expo, back for cardio, back for a shower, go and pick them up in Nando. So I had a great time picking them up. That was great. Kevin Levrone taking his top off in the back of the van when no one had seen him that year. So if you remember, Kevin always trained with his hoodie on for that year when he was making his comeback. And I remember my old training partner at the time was a guy called Pete Lawson, lovely chap. And I said, I've got to pick up Kevin. Come on, quick. So he jumps in the van and we're taking him back to his hotel, and Kevin's in the back anyway. And we're talking to him about the Olympia, and we're saying, do you think you'll be ready, Kevin? And this is May. And he was on stage in September. He went, pull over, I'll show you. So we pull over and he just takes his top off in the back of the van. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, he was already fucking there. Like, pretty much. He wasn't far off. And I'm like, Kevin Levrone just took his top off and asked us his opinion on our opinion on his physique. And I'm, what the fuck am I doing on the side of the M42? That was pretty surreal. But no, I suppose through this, just the fact that people are WhatsApping me now that I have always, been a fan of, it's amazing. Like, you know, Justin Compton and people like this that have just now got my number, and I'm like, fucking hell. And I'm nothing special at all, and I'm like, it's amazing, like the journey we've come on. And people, I suppose, people buying into this idea that I had, writing it down on a piece of paper. You know, I've still got the list on my phone of the brands that I've still got them in my notes. I'll probably get them out one day. These are the brands I want. These are the brands I think I'll get. These are the brands I really want. And these are the brands I'd love to get, but I don't think I'll ever get them.
Yeah.
And I'm now in a position where I've pretty much got them all and more. And I'm like, how the fuck have I done this? You know, it's baffling. And then I suppose it's just mental, lads, and it's just the journey it's come on, and then thinking, oh, do you know what? Let's launch a federation in a pandemic as well. Why not? Eh? We may as well. It's just
might as well do something.
And again, that came about because I genuinely thought that, you know, you don't go to Glastonbury to watch one band, so I thought, oh, we'll get 2 or 3 feds at this, and there'll be like a NABBA on the Saturday and this on the Sunday and whatever. But no one really wanted it because they were like, well, who's this fella? You know, don't trust this guy. Who is he? Who's this clown? And you know, because we're not the big boys, like, you know, we're not the you know, Body Power is an institution. It's been around for years. Everyone knows the names of the guys that run it. And I suppose I was offering something different, and some of the brands were like, that can't be real. Like, he's not giving us a stand for free. That doesn't make sense. And but for me, it makes absolute sense because it has that credibility. Yeah. You know, I remember driving up to CNP, and Chris and Dave at the time were. I'm sitting there like seeing if they would maybe come on board with me and have a stand off me. And suddenly then they want to be the headline partner of it. And they're like, okay, what do you need? And all this. And I'm like, oh shit, like, you know, this is, how the fuck have I done this?
It's come real now.
Yeah. And then like I messaged Rick from Strom, and I was like, and I didn't know Rick. I messaged him and I said, you know, what do you think of this? And he said, he just voice noted me back with, yes, sir. And I was like, okay. And then next thing he says, are you free for a chat? So I went and met him, and then by default, then HR Labs joined and Insight joined. And then I already knew other brands before, but I didn't want to approach them because they were associated with the federation I was with. And I didn't want to be that guy that just went to the brands that they've already got. But weirdly, they came to me because they knew me from before. And the way I kind of was, I've always just been a friendliest chap. And, you know, whether I was giving out goodie bags or whatever at the shows, that they'd probably seen me running around like an idiot because that's what I always did. And they probably said like, oh, this is a nice enough chap. And then they jumped on board. And now, you know, like you, Jace, there with the explosive top on, like they've been amazing. Like they've been phenomenal. I have a meeting with them every week now. Yeah. They do all our clothing, and you know, he's a really nice guy, the guy that runs that. And you know, and then other brands jumped on board, and then it's just been a whirlwind. It has. So I suppose the whole thing's fucking surreal, if I'm honest. The fact that I'm being invited onto podcasts is really weird. But flattering as well.
To be fair, Josh Maley was the reason why. Yeah. Because when we had him on, he was like, you should get Darren on and have a chat with him. We're like, yeah, why not? We'll give it a go. Yeah.
I fucking love that fella. Do you know what? I met Josh many times backstage with the show. So obviously he competed. And I remember meeting him, and I was on prep. I got a photo out the other day, and I showed it to Laz when we were doing a video. And I'm a week out from my show. I actually look like I've got an arm, would you believe? It's gone now. But at that time, I was lean enough to look like I resembled a bicep. And yeah, I had a photo with him. And I met Josh, and I was like, fucking hell, this is Josh Maley. And it's just because he's just an animal, isn't he? Like, to see him, if you've ever seen him in the flesh, he is a force to be reckoned with. Like, he's just amazing. Like, he's just, you've got to look and go.
Yeah, he's like a foot taller than me and Tom, so we'll be like.
He's just got that. He's just got that. You just don't fucking see it, do you? Walking around Tesco, something like that. But the fact that he's come from where he's come from, if you ever look through his transformations, but you know what? More than that, he's a lovely chap. And so I knew him already from competing at the shows, and I always kind of, you know, looked after him backstage. And then straight away, then he was obviously a strong athlete, so I asked him to be in some of our videos and stuff, and he supported us from day one. And now he's one of our judges, and you know, he's guest posing at Leeds, and you know, he'll be guest posing, I'm sure, at many more shows. And you know, he's got pro written all over him. I'm sure this will be the year he goes for it. If he's going to do it, what else can he win now? Like, he has to go for it. And but he's just an absolute gentleman. And yeah, I've got a lot of time for Josh. Fantastic fantastic coach as well. If anyone's looking for coach,
I think Jamie Joe Hall's hoping he doesn't, because he's going to take his title of the tallest bodybuilder.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, they train together, don't they? I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, but yeah, I use that exact word, gentleman, when anybody asks me, what Josh was like on the podcast. Because again, to people of sort of our level, that you got Josh Maley on the podcast. We were like, I can remember we were sat. I was in my car, Jason. Were you doing steps? I can't remember what it was,
Probably,
but we were just messaging each other, and then we just video chat because Jason was like, I've just had 3 people reply to me that said yes. I remember there was like Josh Bridgman was one of the first ones that said yes, and we couldn't believe that one. And then Kuba said, yeah, I'll do it, but give me a bit of time, and we'll, it should be next week, hopefully.
I like him. Yeah, I like him. Yeah.
And and then Josh, and we were like freaking out about that.
Christian as well, Christian Chapman. That was a weird one, kind of thing, because obviously with a lot of these guys being in prep and their time being very, how do I word it, very precious. So the fact that they come on to something as we as this podcast is quite.
Yeah,
yourself,
and I think the thing is,
Darren, obviously your time's going to be precious now because you're getting closer and closer to the.
Yeah, but stuff like this is important, though. It is very important. So no, I'm honoured to be on that.
We appreciate it, especially in its infancy, like where we're starting, and the people we've had on. Fitx, everybody knows and has heard of Fitx now within the UK and within the UK bodybuilding scene, and strongman and whatnot as well. Definitely. I follow Strom, and then by part of following Strom, I've seen literally since it was first announced right the way through. Obviously, I follow Fitx as well as soon as it was a page and whatnot. But it's seeing all these different Strom athletes as well who are then sharing it too, and then other people and bits and pieces. And yeah, like I saw the video with like Will Carver and Josh Maley, and they're in Liverpool on the docks, and everyone's being recorded. They're like, oh, didn't have enough time to prepare for this, didn't realise and whatever. And it's just because it's just normal people who enjoy the sport and want to band together and help. And like we said before we started the podcast, and we've said this on a couple as well, that it is surprising to somebody that hasn't just asked the question of, can I have a chat with you, or do you want to come on a podcast, or do you want to come and be in some videos, just how nice and kind everyone is within the industry. Obviously you've got a few arseholes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, mate, there's plenty of arseholes, but there's lovely people, mate, and there's people that just want to be. At the end of the day, we're all in it for the same thing. We all love this sport, or whether you're strongman, powerlifting, whatever, we're there to support each other. And it's just as I said earlier, like these type of gyms where people compete out of. If I was ever going to kind of go back and give a piece of advice to someone that was my younger self, well, there's lots of advice I've given myself because I made a lot of mistakes. but ultimately, from a training world, I know I'm nothing special. Let's get that clear. But I wish I'd kind of joined one of those type of gyms earlier.
100%.
Because when I wanted to compete, I'd hovered around, and it was a decent gym I was at, but no one really competed there, so I never really knew what the crack was, really. I remember seeing a guy in there that looked like he did, but I was a bit too nervous to talk to him. Whereas when I then moved gyms at the time, and he's now actually one of our judges, Rich Oxley. He's moved gyms since, but he's one of our prep coach, one of our judges. He used to be one of Darren's partners. But once I started training there, I was suddenly like a really small fish in a big pond. I was like, oh fuck, I thought I looked all right, but not in here, I don't. and then you get seeing how they train and what bits of different kit they have. And then actually, God, my diet's been shit for years. I've been eating this when I should have been eating this. And I suppose the advice I would always give is to get into one of those gyms, talk to people, and people will be absolutely supportive of you.
Yeah.
And I just wish I'd done that 5 or 6 years earlier, and maybe I'd have had a half decent physique, but it is.
Yeah, we're thinking the exact same thing, don't worry. Mate.
Yeah, like 10 years ago when I was going to come up for 20, that would be, I was like 8.5 stone dripping wet kind of thing. So I was going into council gyms and like your 24-hour ones, and there wasn't really the social media thing there is now, which makes me seem really old.
On the reverse, I was 21 stone and didn't know what a fucking gym was. So
wow.
Yeah, so if I could go back that 10 years, I think it would definitely like if I could go back with the passion I've got just now 10 years ago, I'd definitely be a totally different physique-wise than what I am now.
Yeah, there's so much knowledge out there at the minute, and there's some really good guys. And like I said, on the prep coach scene, there's loads in there, and we've talked about a couple there tonight. Obviously, Cuba's brilliant, and Josh Maley's brilliant, Jamie's brilliant. They're all really good coaches, but there's loads more. You've got a JP top on there. I'm sure you're part of that crew. Who's, again, brilliant. Like that's what I mean. These are the people that we should listen to, but then there's loads of smaller, less famous people as well. My prep coach Rich, he was phenomenal. Like someone actually asked me this week if they could have a bit of help with some kind of prep and stuff, and I put them this guy's way because the way he is with you. I used to dread going in on a Friday morning in my pants because I knew he'd shout at me for being too fat. And but that's what I need. That's what I needed. I needed someone to pull at me on a Friday because otherwise I'd be like, oh fuck it, I'll have a biscuit, I'll have a cream egg.
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes you need that, and it's that level of push and that little. Once you sign up to something and you've got to do it, then you've got to go balls to the wall and you've got to go for it, haven't you? So
yeah, 100%. I agree with that. That's what Jeff's like. Jason can attest to that.
What's you two plans then for competing and stuff?
Probably a bad word, but I'm competing in PCA first timers in September.
Okay. That's all right. That's fine.
Been wanting to do it for years, to be honest with you. It's something that I was always really fat, and I've lost a lot of the weight. So now last year it was kind of like I'd gone from dieting at 1,200 calories a day and training 7 days a week, and realised that actually if I Google it, I don't need to train that much. I can eat more food, and I can look better than I look. And I last year was the year where I learned the most about the sport. I've always been a fan of it, but last year was like, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. This year I was kind of like, I don't know whether I should compete. I probably won't. And then it was like, fuck it. I'm going to go. I'm going to do it. I'm going to put myself under that pressure.
What's the date of that one?
27th of September. So I'm 23 weeks out.
That's 2 days after our bloody finals.
Yeah.
However, I'll give you an exclusive. What we are looking at doing is putting a show after our finals, which will be an early qualifier for 2022. Okay. And the reason for that is, I know the UK BFF used to do it before. It makes sense because, mate, I've got no issue with competing with anyone else. That's brilliant. Like, I think if you're in shape, but there's so much like bitchiness in this world. There really is. And I want people to compete for this Fed. And if you're in shape, drop into another one next week. Drop into another one. That's brilliant. Get as much stage time as you can. That's why we've got 2 classes with us as well. So you can do first timers, then you can drop into, class 2, whatever you want. But we want you to compete for other Feds. That's absolutely fine. But we're going to drop this qualifier in at the end of the year, somewhere around there, maybe October, maybe November. And that will be a qualifier for 2022 finals so that you could have a long off season if your plan is to get your qualification in there. Yeah. But it makes sense because you're going to have a hell of a lot of people in shape around the NABA universe, the PCA world, the PCA universe, all that kind of stuff. So why the hell not? So yeah, we will have a show there. So
definitely something I'd be interested in because the plan is to do a couple in a row because there's another one in London a week or 2 after. So
we're London on the 19th. Well, we're 11th of September. We're Bournemouth. That's a cracking venue. Or right on the beach, and then we are London 19th, and then our finals is the 25th of September, which has got that international prize, which has got went down well. A bit different. Yeah, we're a bit
great. It definitely is. It's very different.
With me, I've not got really a lot of muscle mass, so to me, it's going to be a long kind of gaining. I call it gaining phase of like 2-ish years, and then see where I stand there, and maybe get on stage. Maybe if I need to continue and try and put more on. Just it's basically I'd like to go on stage at least once or twice just to see if I could go for a prep kind of thing.
Just enjoy the process and do it. But do it if you want to do it. Do it. Go for it. And who preps you two lads? Who's your prep coaches?
My coach is a guy. He trains with George Bridgman, William McIntyre. He's a PT out of the Grove.
Okay.
Mine's Jeff Raybold, who competed in Body Power Expo a couple of years ago.
I know him. Yeah. Okay.
He lives local. Yeah. This is guy we've had him on the podcast and same with you as well.
Very nice guy, mate. He is really nice guy. Yeah.
Not when it comes to checking on a Sunday.
Oh, I dread them days. Do you know what though? As weird as it is, I haven't got a comp or anything, and I'm just, but I've plodded a lot for the last 2 years. I've just plodded, and I'm not going to blame anything. I'm not going to say, oh, I've been too busy with this, because do you know what? When I did my first comp, I had a baby, and I had 2 jobs, so I can't have any excuses. You either got to do it, or you got to do it. But
Yeah.
I've no excuse. I've just been fucking lazy, and I've eaten too many Pringles and too many cream eggs.
Yeah,
but I think I'm gonna take a coach on, just because I need that Friday bollocking and just sort your shit out. So I think no better time, because I've got to be in good nick for July, haven't I?
Just the accountability.
I think the biggest reason I went with William is mainly because my off-season diet was like a Swiss roll, a family Swiss roll a day. That was where I got my extra calories in. So it's like something to kind of control that. Somebody to tell me that you hit these macros, check in the Sunday, so I've got some accountability kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. But no, I would agree with that. Even last year, when it wasn't a case of wanting to compete, I was with Jeff then as well, and it was just that accountability and someone's telling you what to eat. There's nothing fantastic about it. It's not thrilling, but if you enjoy bodybuilding, you enjoy being in shape, then it's a worthwhile investment, especially if you want to compete in the future, or if you decide you want to go on a fucking holiday or whatever, and you want to at your best. There's nothing wrong with that, I don't think.
No, definitely, mate. Yeah, definitely.
So that's interesting, though. Interesting to know there's more stuff towards the end of the year. Obviously, we're going to come and check out the expo in Liverpool, and I want to see as many shows as I can this year, because to be honest with you, I've never been to a bodybuilding show. I've never even been to an expo. I've literally watched everything on YouTube, never had the opportunity, and this year I'm gonna, when I can get
to Leeds then. You'll have to come to our first show then, Leeds, 23rd of May. You have to come to that.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, so we went on sale last week. We're only allowed, I think, 250 tickets sold. Yeah, we're only allowed that. So we've done well. It's gone quite well, considering it's our first show. But I just want to throw everything at it to make it special. I want you to, right down to the design on the bloody badges that go on your trunks. Every little thing is just a little bit special. And yeah, I'm planning a lot for that, and I'm just hoping it all goes off, because it's the 17th of May you're allowed in a theatre, and we're the 23rd of May, so we're the first kind of show that'll be in a theatre after that, in the bodybuilding world, to my knowledge, in any Fed. I think. I
saw the Instagram stories and all images of the theatre. It looks like a pretty epic.
Yeah. Well, all our venues are, mate. I picked really high-end venues because we could have played the game of going for something smaller and then growing into it as we developed. And we got, we're not going to make any money. Like we genuinely, it's not about that for me year one. It's about, you need more athletes than what I'm going to have on stage for year one. But there's a lot of people who are probably thinking, oh, what are these about? I'll watch the first few and see. We are obviously getting busier throughout the year. The Strong one in July is obviously the busiest show so far. The South Coast one is picking up now. But we're different as well, because we offer this sponsorship to every and no one really does that. So for me, though, that's massively important, because everyone wants to be a sponsored athlete. And they do, and everyone loves free shit. So the fact that you can be a full-on sponsored athlete with that relevant brand is really important to me. So and they're all really good brands. Like, there's no shit brands. So the first one is Insight, and Emma Hyman as well. So Emma Hyman will be sponsoring the winners as well. We've got Josh Maley guest posing. We've got traders there as well. So yeah, you'll have to come, Tom, to that.
Definitely.
And if you can take a long drive down, Jace, it's a long drive. I did it for SFN though. I drove up there 5.5 hours.
Put some fucking effort in, Jason.
I've got my girlfriend immigrating to Scotland 3 days after that, so got a few things planned for that.
I'll give you a goodie bag.
I'll definitely come to that. Like I say, I've not been to any shows, and I need the experience more than anything before I compete. So and again, meet people, especially people off the podcast as well. This is something we've said. Everybody's so nice. Once you see them in real life, obviously they'll know who you are, and you can have a chat and recognize that sort of thing.
Yeah, and we've got really cool vendors there as well. I've got Nutrivast from Ultrafast have come in. We've got Insight themselves. Who else have we got? We've got some Bikini Crew. You won't be bothered about them, but they'll be there. We've got Josh. We've got Defiance Donuts. We've got Josh Maley guest posing. As I say, we're going to have a really cool opening performance by Emma Hyman, which has never been done before. What we're planning for that, so that'll be really cool. So yeah, just loads of little bits and pieces. I just want it to go off with a bang, and then we want to drop that video, and then people go, "Fuck, this is good."
Yeah.
And then hopefully sign up to the next one.
Just sell the rest of it off then, I guess.
Please God, yeah.
That's cool, man. I don't know if you've got any more questions, Jason, but I'm pretty happy with that. There's far more information coming out than I thought.
I got one question from a guy, Tom, on Instagram saying, when can I get on one of the FitX posters? But I don't know who he was.
After his repeat, yeah. I'll send you both that t-shirt though, chaps. I'm going to put you on my little list here because I haven't.
Appreciate that.
I'll send you both.
Thanks, man.
Thank you for inviting me on. I really appreciate that.
Thank you very much. Well, it was great to chat with you, and I'm sure we'll chat again in the future. But I'll definitely be down on 23rd of May. I've made a note, and I will buy a ticket in a minute.
Oh, thank you. I can go and train now. Then I've got an hour.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Independence
Jace.
Day.
But listen, if you come down to Leeds, Jace, we can get you in. Go to an Ultraflex at Leeds. We can have a session in.
Yeah. Might hold you to that one.
Okay then, man.
Thanks so much.
Right. Thanks, mate.
Thank you very much. Catch you later.
Take care. See you guys.
There's Darren.
Hey guys, if you like today's podcast, please like and subscribe to the video and check out the bio. That's where all the links to all the social media for the guest and me and Tom will be down there. And again, thanks for watching.